I think James was the tzaddik for all these groups, sort of like the grandfather of the mountain for all these groups, around which all these groups revolved, but they were all opposed to Roman power in Palestine. That's why they were all liquidated. Josephus doesn't use the term right away. He calls it the fourth movement in his work. Well, these are very specialized questions, but by the time of the takeover of the temple, he's calling one group among them Zealots. The actual group, probably the James group, because this is the group that actually killed the high priest that is responsible for the death of James. And you see in a sequentiality there, like-minded groups have like enemies. The group that occupied the center part of the temple under Eleazar in the 60s, Josephus starts to call Zealots.
Looking at his disciples, he said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who hunger now, for you will be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. But woe to you who are rich, for you have already received your comfort. Woe to you who are well fed now, for you will go hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you will mourn and weep. The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor."
The movement we have here is really the better name for it than Essene or even Zealot is the Messianic movement in Palestine. We've said that this literature is tremendously Messianic.
We have found this man subverting our nation. He opposes payment of taxes to Caesar and claims to be Messiah, a king.
You'll see that Josephus says in one passage of his book about the war against Rome that the thing that most moved the Jewish people to revolt against Rome was the prophecy that a world ruler would come out of Palestine. That tells us that they were moved by the Messianic prophecy, and that the revolution against Rome that we often think of political was in fact not simply political but religious and Messianic. We think we have here the literature of the movement. We don't say it began in the 1st century. It leads up from the Maccabean period in the 2nd century BC on up through the Herodian period into the 1st century. We think we have here the literature of the Messianic movement.